In early March, a dog from Hong Kong caught the attention of international news after scientists discovered the dog was infected with coronavirus. After confirming that the dog tested positive for the virus responsible for COVID-19, it was moved from Hong Kong to a facility used as an animal quarantine. Recurring swab tests collected from the dog's nose and throat were performed and revealed a coronavirus infection. These results raised many questions and concerns. How susceptible are dogs to the virus? Do we need to worry about our pets? Can dogs spread the virus to people? The positive coronavirus test in this dog simply means that a small piece of the viral genome has been discovered in the sample. PCR, a test used to detect genetic material, is a very sensitive testing method, but it can't be known whether the coronavirus actually infected the dog or whether the dog simply licked a contaminated surface. It's not known exactly how long the virus that causes COVID-19, known as SARS-CoV-2, will remain in the body. Research on other viruses has shown that they can remain infectious for several days if the temperature and humidity are correct. Given that we don't even know if the infected dog is contagious or not, we have no idea to what extent the virus has been able to replicate in this specific dog. We know that SARS-CoV-2 is transmitted by moisture droplets, so dogs can act as carriers, or sponges, which transmit the virus if hygiene is not maintained. While SARS-CoV-2 currently has the spotlight, there are actually many different types of coronaviruses, and those that target dogs are nothing new. The first coronavirus was reported in dogs as early as 1974. More recently, in 2003, a canine coronavirus, which causes respiratory diseases in dogs, was identified in an animal shelter in the United Kingdom. This virus has since been reported worldwide. Although coronaviruses that target dogs are different from SARS-CoV-2, dogs are clearly susceptible to this family of viruses. However, there are no previous cases of human coronaviruses that infect dogs or vice versa. In order for the virus to jump species, there are some obstacles that must be overcome. The main obstacle preventing the virus from infecting a new species of animal is the surface of the host cell. In order to infect a dog's cells, SARS-CoV-2 would need to bind to a dog's receptors. We know that SARS-CoV-2 uses our ACE2 and TMPRSS2 proteins to enter cells. Dogs do have these two proteins, but they're different from the human versions, so the virus may not be able to use them as efficiently. If we assume the virus can bind, enter, and replicate inside of dogs' lungs, dog owners would be more likely to worry. Considering this, it's reassuring to know that the Pomeranian at the center of this media attention showed absolutely no signs of illness. Although this is only one case, there is no reason to believe that the human virus would cause disease in dogs at this time. In order to transmit the virus, it would need to replicate in dogs at levels high enough to be released from their bodies. Reports indicate that only low levels of the virus were able to be found in the dog. And if you're wondering how long it would take for the virus to infect a dog, you're asking the wrong person. There are a number of different viruses that, while theoretically transmissible from a dog to a human, are more effective in human-to-human transmission. It's also known that dogs can be vulnerable to the human norovirus. However, despite millions of cases of this virus every year, only one case of transmission of this virus to a dog has ever been recorded. Complete genome sequencing was beneficial in this specific case and would also be required to conclusively demonstrate the role of dogs in the current SARS-CoV-2 outbreak. Even in the worst-case scenarios where coronavirus can replicate in dogs at reasonable levels, your neighbor is still more likely to infect you than your dog. However, it is necessary to practice good hygiene around any pets. This will prevent them from carrying viruses on their coats and spreading them from person to person. If you're a dog owner, I hope I put you at ease. On the other hand, unfortunately, if you're a cat owner, the truth is slightly more concerning because it seems a cat has recently been infected with the virus as well. It was reported that a week after the cat's owner tested positive for SARS-CoV-2, a cat developed difficulties breathing and diarrhea. Veterinarians at the University of Liège in Belgium tested the cat by taking vomit and stool samples and later confirmed it was in fact a carrier of the virus. So is it time to start worrying about the well-being of our cats? Well, I don't have a cat, so I really couldn't care less. But honestly, there are so many more questions that still need to be answered. For starters, we don't even know if the cat has SARS-CoV-2 or the feline coronavirus that's been around for decades. The feline coronavirus exists as two different viruses. One that causes mild gastrointestinal disease, and the other that causes a more deadly disease called feline infectious peritonitis. Feline coronaviruses look completely different from SARS-CoV-2 on a genetic level. This means that as long as the correct test has been done for the cat in question, it should be easy to differentiate the two viruses. The standard SARS-CoV-2 test only detects viral genomes. It's important to remember that this test does not detect living virus particles, so it's impossible to know whether the viral genome present in a cat is capable of replicating. To show whether or not there's an infection, several tests would be required. It's possible the cat simply ate a contaminated food and the virus passed safely through its body. This explanation is less likely if large quantities of genetic material are detected in the cat, but there hasn't been any research in this area. While dogs infected with SARS-CoV-2 had no clear clinical signs of COVID-19, the cat in this story has shown respiratory symptoms. However, as any veterinarian knows, cats may have trouble breathing for any variety of reasons, from cat asthma to cat heart disease or even cat strokes. Likewise, there's also a very long list of causes for diarrhea in cats. Without knowing the clinical details about this condition, we can't know whether COVID-19 was responsible for the disease or whether it was some other random cat illness. Fortunately, there is some good news, and it's that there is still no evidence that pets can transmit the virus to humans. It's also reassuring that a large veterinary diagnostic laboratory recently stated that it has now tested thousands of cat and dog samples for SARS-CoV-2 without any positive cases. Also, some other good news, as of March 31st, there are over 800,000 human COVID-19 cases worldwide, so it could be assumed that if our pets were capable of becoming infected, surely we would have heard more about it by now. We'll continue to watch for updates on this, so stay tuned for more videos here and on our other YouTube channels. If you would like to support the work we do, you can donate to our PayPal, Subscribestar, or Patreon. All those links and more are in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.